Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm on my morning run. I don't know how many people going to be up with me this early, but it is early. Oh, yeah. So, let's get it, y'all. Y'all ain't nobody in here right now, and that's the whole gist of this here video that I'm about to make right now because I don't get that many views. Uh, Couple of days ago, I was on a panel. Like I said, it was a panel where I appeared. I believe it was on this dude named Bernard. I don't know who Bernard is. Like I said, he came as a recommended channel to me, and I said something down in the comments section that triggered everybody, and so I was asked to come up on the panel. Now, after I appeared on the panel, I came here to my channel and I did a video talking about it. And this morning, when I get up, I noticed that the video is gone. Now, mind you, I don't get too many people on my channel. My channel is relatively small. I don't even get that many views. When I go live, I'll be lucky if I have 5 people watching at a time, or maybe even one person watching. So anyway, they flagged the video and got it taken down because they didn't like what I was saying. And see now, if I was a dirty ass bitch, I would go to their channel and flag every last one of their videos because this dude put up a video with my name in the title. And then I know it's him because his dirty ass had my name in the title of his video while he was sitting up there, gloating about what he thought was a victory. And then I noticed that he took my name out of the title, and then my video is miraculously disappeared. Now, see, this is that underhand fuckboy shit that I'm talking about. See, some of these guys are such crybabies, and they're so desperate for a victory that they can't allow you to tell your side of the story. Once again, it's all about silencing. And see, it's the silencing thing that I don't like. Now, on that particular video, we were talking about, and I'm going to do the whole spiel again since they took my other video down, because you're not going to silence me, motherfucker. I'll just not use certain terms in my video so that I don't violate community guidelines, so your bitch ass don't report me again and get my video taken down. But that's exactly what they did. They reported the video and they had the video taken down because they didn't want the other side of the story to come out. But once again, their video is still up because I'm not a bitch ass motherfucker to go around reporting shit. I feel like if you want your side of the story out there, hey, people are going to view the content and they're going to make their mind up for themselves. I'm not going to sit up here and try to control the narrative or try to silence somebody by flagging their shit. So that was a bitch punk ass move. But like I said, the whole gist of that subject that we were talking about pedophilia in the black community. And like I said, all of the men on that panel were pretty much trying to blame black women for the mentality of people who do such things in the community. They try to blame black women for people who go around preying on women and children in the community. They say it is the fault of the black mother. And so I put the comment down there that it isn't the fault of the black mother. These mothers are not going out of their way to create these pedophiles. And so he asked me to come up on the panel and clarify. And even when I went up on the panel to clarify, I did my clarification, and for some reason or another, because it wasn't fitting into their narrative, they didn't want to accept the clarification. He kept trying to put words in my mouth and make it what he wanted it to be. And when I did not allow him to do that, because I am a very strong-willed woman, you're not going to tell me what it is that I think. If you ask for my clarification and I give it to you, you're not going to turn around and then say, no, this is what you really meant to say because that fits your narrative. And see, this is the whole problem that I have with some of these guys. They ask you, they pretend that they want your side of the story, but then when you tell them what your side of the story is, it's not good enough. They don't want to hear it. They turn around and then try to tell you what you meant. And then when I come over even to my own channel to clarify what my side is because they misrepresented me on their channel, like they always do, they mute you. When I was over there, I was being overtalked. I was being disrespected. I got muted, called a bitch. And this is because I have my opinion. And like I said, even with all of that going on his channel, I didn't report his channel. I wasn't a crybaby. I wasn't running around here having tantrums like, oh, let's get the video taken down. I didn't do that. I'm not a person that goes around flagging or doxing. And that's the whole thing that's really kind of making me fed up with this whole black YouTube shit. It's too many goddamn drama kings, drama queens, and crybabies on here. Everybody wants just their side of the story, and they want to just shut the other person down. So long story short, I went on there and I clarified. I said, listen, I had to use logic. I said, you're sitting up here saying that the baby mothers are the ones who are responsible for these pedophiles in the community. And I understood what he meant as far as them turning their back on the abuse and a lot of times protecting the abusers in the community. I get that. And I even told him I agree with that. Yeah, I know that that happens. But for you to go as far as to say that they also create them, that's where you and I part ways with logic. Because no parent goes out of their way to create a monster. And I said, and furthermore, you sit up here and you act as if the black community is the only community that have issues with degenerates. But if you look at other communities, like the white communities, you have the Hispanic communities. These are communities that also have issues with degenerates, even more so in the white community. If you look at the FBI stats, who is committing majority of the crimes here in this country? Majority of the crimes in this country are committed by white people. We are not doing all of that. So a lot of our degeneracy was passed down to us, but I'm not, making an excuse for why we're doing it, but I'm just telling you where it comes from because you have to look at the origin of everything. So, before we go and tear each other apart, we have to look at this thing holistically. Now, if you're going to sit up here and say black baby mamas, because this is what a lot of these guys like to do. They like to sit up here and they like to blame black women for all the ills of the community while, giving themselves no type of blame whatsoever. As far as they're concerned, the present parent is the only parent that should be held up to the microscope. Out of sight, out of mind when it comes to the black fathers who are not in the picture. And I don't agree with that either. But getting back to my other example of other communities and their degeneracy, you have the Unabomber, you have Jeffrey Dahmer, you got Catholic priests that prey on families and women with children. Now, who is to blame in those communities when those things happen? And a lot of these people come from two-parent homes. So the whole premise that the single black mother creates the degenerates, it gets debunked right there. It gets debunked right there and becomes dead in the sand. And like I said all of this in my other video. I have to kind of remake the video again because they flagged my shit like little punk ass bitches that they are. So here's the thing. If you're going to say that it's all black women's fault, that these guys wake up one morning and say, I want to be a pedophile, then you have to also go into those other communities where the degeneracy is also at an all-time high and blame single white mothers. whether they're married or not. And a lot of times those people like Jeffrey Dahmer came from a two-parent home. Those Catholic priests, most of them came from two-parent homes. Who's to blame for their degeneracy? Now, here's the thing. In other communities, they have a lot of community outreach programs for victims and the family of victims. And I spoke about this too in the other video that they flagged and took down like little bitches because they want to silence me. I spoke about how other groups of people help victims and the family of victims. So if there is some sort of degeneracy where you have a person who was touched, a person who was molested, Miss Gigi, yeah, they flagged my other video. Yeah, they didn't like the fact that I was speaking my mind, and so they flagged the other video and had it taken down. Right, exactly, crazy. You know, I did not flag their shit, but they flagged mine. So I have to basically remake my video and make my points again because you're not going to silence me. You know, you cry baby. I'm not going to call it the manosphere because they said themselves and they're not part of the manosphere. So I'm not going to put this on the manosphere, but I am going to put it on those punk ass bitches. And like I said, they conveniently took my name out the title of their video before they reported mine because they knew that I could do a counterclaim on them for putting my name up in the video, you know, so that they can clown or gloat or whatever. As I went back and looked at the video, I said, oh, they took my name out the title. But I didn't know that they strategically did that so that they could flag my shit. Yeah, I gotta hit this road. I'm up early because I'm working, y'all. But yeah, that's the long and short of it. So anyway, getting back to the point that I was making, they have programs in other communities that help victims and families of victims. And they educate women, especially if they're single mothers, of what to look out for as far as predators. They educate the children. They do a lot of community outreach, you know, dealing with the family. They're not sitting up here degrading the victim or the mother or the family. They have programs where they're actually trying to help so that they can prevent the thing from happening again. But in our community, meanwhile, in Blackistan, as a lot of the swirlers like to call it, and it's starting to ring true, I'm telling you. Over here in Blackistan, black men are not trying to help. They're not protecting, and they're not helping. All they're doing is complaining most of the time. And that's what I said in the last video that they flagged. They're complaining and blaming. And they're only blaming black women. Once again, black women have to take the burden of all the ills in the black community. So now we got degenerates running around here shooting up the community. That's the black woman's fault. We got degenerates running around here raping and being pedophiles and molesting children. They say that's the black woman's fault. Everything is the black woman's fault, but there is no solutions. And I get to the point where I'm believing that they don't even want the solutions. All they want is to just sit up and complain and whine and bitch about black women. And I said it in the last video, and I'm going to say it in this video, because when I was sitting on that panel, and every time I brought up the black man and what his role is in this whole thing that we got in our community with these pedophiles, they kept over talking me. They kept telling me, oh, stay on topic, stay on topic. Okay, I'm on topic. Okay, you want to blame the black woman, and I'm trying to tell you that we got other things that we need to look at besides just blaming it on the black woman. How about educating these single mothers so that they're not soft targets? How about educating these children and letting them know that it's okay for them to reach out to an adult? Hey, Mel, I'm in the middle of a vlogcast. Let me call you back. All right, y'all. I'm sorry. I had to take a phone call real quick. I'm gonna put my stuff on do not disturb. I apologize for that. Yeah, so we have got to also start looking at helping our victims. We do a lot of demonizing of the people that we so-called claim we care about. And this is the other thing too. I see a lot of fake outrage. A lot of people acting like they don't like they care, but to me, if you just want to sit up here and blame somebody and whine and cry, that doesn't say that you care to me. If you're doing this and then at the end of the day, you just basically dumped on a whole group of women with no solution in sight for what it is that you claim you care about, you really didn't give a fuck, in my opinion. And like I said in the other video, there are two guys that were on that panel. And like I said, had I known they were there, I probably wouldn't have never went up on the panel. I'm kind of, regretting my decision to go up there. I think Obsidian was up there, but Obsidian wasn't bad. He was very cordial, very professional. But towards the end of the program, this guy Angry Man got up there, and Angry Man was not gentlemanly. He wasn't professional. He wasn't cordial at all. Now they claim that I disrespected him because they claim I spoke over him. Now let me tell you something. If someone speaks over you in real life, do you turn around and call them out their name? I mean, do you have more self-control than that? What's more disrespectful, the fact that somebody spoke over you, or the fact that somebody felt that it was appropriate to be verbally abusive towards you because they didn't like what you were saying, and that they felt like you overtalked them? I got overtalked over and over again on that panel. I got muted, and not one time did I come out my bag and call them niggas. But then you got people like LAR. You got people like, yeah, I'm naming names. They get on the panel. They take little sound bites and they remix it to make it sound like what they want it to sound like. And they start playing online. This is a game to them. Like, yeah, got that black bitch. This is the remix. And they look pitiful. So yeah, I have to come on here and do my little video again. Because once again, I'm not going to let you get away with trying to silence me. The silencing thing, I'm getting kind of tired of it. So I wonder how they're going to dox this video. Because I didn't use any curse words in the title. I wonder if they're going to say, oh, she said my name and she's bullying me. They could do that too. But like I said, I want you to know who the perpetrators are. That bitch ass Bernard, bitch ass Angry Man, bitch ass Obsidian. And yeah, and a lot of those guys are part of the manosphere. But yeah, somebody reported my video and got it taken down. I don't know who it was. I don't know which of those whiny bitch ass niggas did it. But hey, here I am again. The same way you took my name out the title so I couldn't report your video, I'm just going to redo mine. And still, I'm going to touch on the same points that I touched on that panel, where you all didn't want to hear any type of solutions. The only solution and this is the thing, they kept going on and on trying to get me to say that it's the black woman's fault. And then they kept talking about I confessed to something. Now, here's the thing. If you say, okay, well, you know what? I'm the type of person, I'm fair-minded. I always say everybody has a certain level of fuckery. And I do understand that there's some fuckery among, what that black women do. So I sat up there and I admitted, I said, you know what? In the Generation X era, we do have an era of women in my era where we are a little bit more assertive. We speak our mind. And they took that as some kind of confession. I mean, you should have heard them. I mean, they were the next day. They were sitting up there, Obsidian. Oh, faith confessed. I'm like, what the fuck are you all talking about? They were over there doing victory laps. I said to myself, these niggas would sit up there and celebrate, not swallowing their whole spit through an entire panel. They will celebrate anything. Oh, I made it through the whole panel without choking on my own saliva. Let's celebrate. What the hell is wrong with these people? So, I know now, not to go on these panels with these guys because there's no solutions. But, the pushback is also very important. And that's what I was saying in my comment section when a lot of you were coming in and you were asking why I jumped on the panel. Because when these guys get on these panels, the mere fact that there aren't any women that are brave enough to get up there and challenge what it is they're saying, the bullshit that they're talking about. Oh, black women are only sleeping with 20%. Black women are only sleeping with 20% of the same black men. And so I asked, where are you getting this data? I said the CDC doesn't have anything anywhere on the internet saying this. Faith, just stay focused on your channel. You know what I am? I am because, I'm getting to the point where I'm getting fed up with everybody. I am. Gigi, you had to restart your channel 3 times? That's crazy. That is crazy. Sheila E., your channel was flagged too? Right, and this is what kills me. I mean, they're sitting up here flagging small channels and trying to silence people from having a voice that pretty much goes against the bullshit rhetoric that they're putting out here. And I wish that YouTube, before they pull your videos or anything like that, that they would actually look at your video, and if you referenced anything in somebody else's video, go back and look at their shit and then have a holistic concept of where the bullshit is coming from. Because the retaliation flagging shouldn't be able to go down either. Flagging people out of retaliation should be against community guidelines too, as far as I'm concerned. You're reaching more important people. Oh, okay, I got you. You block and distance yourself. That's what I do. Like yesterday, I deleted 3 channels that I was sub to because it was too much bullshit going on. I try to pretty much keep to myself. I pretty much stay out of the YouTube drama. And I keep it moving. Like I say, I call it like it is, and I keep it moving. When I do discuss topics with people, or I do decide to go on a panel with somebody, I try to find solutions. If we're not talking about solutions, or if we're not talking about, coming to some sort of compromise, I feel like what's the whole point of it all? Real life appreciation, right? Exactly. But here's the thing, and I said this in the other video. You can't sit up here and just blame black women for all the degeneracy that goes on when you got 70% of our children living in single mother homes with black women being unprotected 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Black children being unprotected 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, because the fathers are just not there. Now, whether they're just weekend dads or they just don't give a fuck and they haven't been in their kids' life at all. And that does happen more often than not, in spite of this stupid CDC report that they keep touting about being the best fathers. And that's another report that they keep misinterpreting, because in that report, it basically states that black fathers are most involved when they're there. And granted, we got a lot of great weekend dads. But for the most part, they ain't there. White fathers are most involved when they're in the home. And you got more white fathers in the home. You got like 70% of white fathers in the home. And you only got 20% of black fathers in the home. So when you look at it from that angle, who is actually doing best of all? And see, and this is why I hate when studies like this come out, because it really wasn't a study. It was an article that somebody wrote. And this person wrote it in a very biased tone to make black men more than what they actually are. And like I said, I would love for it to be true that they're doing best of all. But the reality of it is our children are missing fathers in the household, and it is pouring out into the communities. The reason why I can say that it's pouring out into the communities because we have low test scores in the community. So now if everything is the black woman's fault and the fathers are in the children's lives, then how come our children still have low test scores? So that means that if you guys are in the children's lives and you have a hand in those low test scores too. So how come when there's something bad going on with the children, black men who tout that they're always there don't take the L for not, educating the children? But it's always the black women's fault, but they claim they there. Why is it that these pedophiles are able to come into the community and prey on young girls and young children and single mothers? Where's the protection? If you guys are there like you claim you are, there should not be all of this predatory activity in the communities that you claim you are there. If you're there, then that must mean that these predators are not afraid of you. But here's what I think, and I said this in the last video that they took down. There are some black men in the community that are heroes. I've had them in my family. My father, my brother, who is no longer with us, my sister's husband, my husband, who is no longer with us. These men were heroes in the community. In the last video, I described a situation when I was younger, in my 20s. I was catching the bus to school. I was going to college. And I witnessed a murder right in front of my eyes. There was a man and his woman. They were outside the White Castles on 71st Street. Was it 71st Street or 69th? I'm not sure. I was in Chicago. But at any rate, they were arguing, and the next thing I know, this guy got out of his car, dragged that woman out of the car, and he started beating her to a bloody pulp on the sidewalk, to the point where I saw blood starting to spill over onto the concrete. And he kept on wailing at her with no end in sight. So finally, a hero, because that's what this man was, and he's no longer with us, by the way, people. A hero emerged, and he got that man off of that woman and likely saved that woman's life. And you know what that motherfucker did? He went back in his car, pulled out a gun, and shot that man point blank, killing him instantly. So see, when I was on that forum and I was trying to, bring up that black men are not protecting their women and their children, this is what I'm talking about. When you sit up here and you talk about how black women protect predators in the community, I submit to you today that black men also protect predators in the community. Because you don't want them there. That guy did not want that man intervening on him, beating this woman to a bloody pulp. So he killed him. And that took a hero away and out of the community. That took a protector out of the community. This whole situation with DJ Kid, once again, black men brought him into the community. They gave him access to our young black girls in exchange for sexual access to non-black women on his end. And so that is how someone like DJ Kid could infiltrate our community and be predatory. Because black men said, hey, you got the okay. Something similar happened to you, Gigi? Two men helped me, and I still went to my event, and I told them what happened. They made sure I was safe and all right. That's good. Then that's what I'm talking about. We do have heroes in the community, but our heroes are deterred from being heroes by the black men in the community who are not trying to be heroes. They don't want the community to be safe because they want to be predatory in the community. But we don't talk about that. When it comes down to also leveling responsibility on the men for their part, that doesn't get discussed. And I like how, I go into these places and these men yell from the top of their lungs. We talk about black male accountability all the time on this channel. This is what they were telling me. But today is the black woman. And then you go back and look at video after video. For 3 seconds, they might talk about black male accountability. And to me, this is just them, prerequisiting what they really want to talk about. Let's get these black women. What they really want to talk about is we want to bash these black women. So for 3 seconds, just to get it out of the way, we'll talk a little bit about black men. But for 3 hours, we're going to focus on black women. 3 seconds on black men, 3 hours on black women. Because we can't get anything together in the community unless we get these black women in order. And this is what I see every time. So when they tell me, we also focus on black men, bullshit. Because when I go to your channel and I listen, I'm listening to you. 3 seconds, black men. 3 hours, black women. 1 video, black men. 4 videos after that, nothing but black women. I don't see the balance. I don't see the balance at all. So, in our communities, we have to look at the fact that we're going to have predators in our communities if the community does not have black men there present and wanting to protect the community. Do you know you cannot go into a random white suburb as a black man or even as a black woman or a black child without white men wanting to know what the fuck you're doing there? We can't just willy-nilly be walking around their community like that. They're so protective of their people and their community, their children, their women. They want to know who the fuck you are. I think this was about 3 years ago or 4 years ago. It was a while back. This boy was walking in the suburbs and he got lost. And so he went to knock on one of his neighbor's doors to see if he can get directions. And the woman came to the door and she acted scared because she saw a tall young black boy standing on her doorstep. And this was a kid, this was a teenager. The boy was only 14 years old. Her son immediately grabbed a gun and ran him away. That's the level of protection they have in their communities. They are like flies to shit on our asses in their communities. Meanwhile, in our communities, you have black men killing the black men who are actually protecting the community. I'll give you another example. Like I said, I grew up in Chicago, and I said this in the other video. I went to Chicago Vocational High School. And when I was a sophomore, I remember, there used to be these old guys used to pull up in front of the school, and they would pick up these young girls coming out of the school. I remember being hit on so many times by guys in their late 20s and early 30s. And I was a freshman, 14, 15, sophomore, 15, 16. And one day when we were on our lunch break, one of the girls was cutting class. And she was getting ready to get in the car with this old dude. And one of the teachers, Mr. McConnor, saw it. And once again, this is a hero. He reported it. And he made it so that that guy couldn't come back up there. 1 week later, there's a shootout at the school. There's a drive-by. Guess who gets hit and shot up in the drive-by? In the hospital in critical condition. He lived. This is the reason why my mother used to tell my brother all the time, don't get involved in other people's stuff. Don't get involved. We tell our boys don't get involved because we're afraid that these niggas in the community will kill them for protecting the community. And all of this I said in that video they got taken down by these bitch ass niggas. They didn't really want that truth to come out. What I was saying is true. See, it doesn't fit into their narrative that the community is fucked up only because of black women. When you start putting the onus on who's supposed to be protecting the community. Whenever you talk about fathers that are not involved in their children's lives at all and how that affects their children, how that affects the mother of the children, how that leaves them wide open with no protection, they don't want to hear that. Because they say, oh, the mother was there, but she was there, but she was there. She was there alone with no protection and no help. And that's the portion everybody skims over. And that's the reason why my video got taken down, by the way. That's the reason why they kept interrupting me on the panel, by the way. That's the reason why Angry Man got angry and called me a bitch, by the way. And they kept muting me so that he could go off. And this is the other thing. They like to say that you're being disrespectful if you stand up for yourself. Now, he could sit up there and yell at me and interrupt me numerous times. But when he called me out my name, I wasn't supposed to stand up for myself. I was supposed to just sit back and take that. And then they call you manly and combative after they've totally disrespected you. Obsidian threw in a couple of jabs about somebody getting down on their knees and servicing him. But none of this is disrespect. And then also in the other video, I touched on these bitches. I also touched on these pick-me ass bitches that will sit down in the comment section and they will watch all that disrespect go down. They'll sit down in the comment section and they'll watch them talking over you, muting you, calling you out your name, telling you that you can get down on your knees and suck the dick. And then when you stand up for yourself, when you start getting loud and you respond to ungentlemanly-like behavior in an unladylike manner, these bitches come later on and tell you, oh, sister, you got to do better. Sister, you got to do better. I got to do better. But they didn't see me getting fucked up on the panel. They didn't see any of that ungentlemanly-like behavior. They're not telling those men they got to do better. So exactly, sister, how should I do better? Should I become even more of a doormat like you? Should I just let them walk all over me? Should I just take my disrespect in stride? Exactly how am I supposed to do better? Miss Gigi, I can believe that the dragging always happens when you're telling the truth. Miss Gee said I didn't have my male family members check on me. I wouldn't have been laying on my floor probably dead. Wow. Wow. And see, that's what I'm talking about. I never ever say that we don't need our men. All I ever say is that we need our men to be there more. Never have I ever said we don't need black men. Now, as far as dating is concerned, because that's dating and community, that's something totally different. Like me, as far as my personal life, I might say I don't need a man. But right now, I don't have a desire for a man. I'm pretty straight, with being just single. I've been married, I've had children, so I'm at a totally different point in my life than maybe a younger black woman would be. And then a younger black woman would be at a point in her life where she's young and independent and she's focusing on her job and her career. And when you're single, independence is a good thing. I was independent when I was young and single. And when I finally met my husband, we merged. We were both independent people and we merged to be one person. So, strong and independent is okay when you're single. But now, when you're married or in a relationship, you can't be strong and independent in a relationship. And this is stuff that should go without saying. But I bring this point up because being like to throw up, oh, y'all strong, y'all independent, y'all say y'all don't need a man. And on that panel, I told them, I said, what is wrong with a single woman saying that she's strong and independent? So basically, you want these single women to be weak and dependent so that you can prey on them. That's what that interprets to me. Because I can't understand men wanting a single woman not to be strong and independent when she doesn't have anybody. When you're single, being strong and independent is good. When you find the right man, then it's time for you to both to submit to one another and you merge together. He's a whole person when you met him, and you were a whole person when he met you. And you add on to each other. Gear Girl said, my own black brother only calls me when he needs something. He helps me with nothing, and it hurts our mom, but I try to explain to her that he doesn't care about me unless he's in need. Then he calls me. That's sad. That really is. And that speaks volumes. I thank you for sharing that, Gia Girl, because that I want to go into that a little bit. Because that is so true. Our men, for some reason or another, if they're not able to use us, if they're not able to abuse us, then we're not useful to them. And I have an issue with that. I'm not useful to you unless you can latch on to me and use me for something. But you haven't made yourself useful to me. I can't depend on you when something is going on in my life. There's an issue with that. And I hear a lot of black women saying that. Now, once again, there are black women that do have wonderful black men in their lives. Like me, my father, like I said, my father was a protector and a provider. And so the people in the neighborhood knew this. My brother was a protector and provider. And the people in the neighborhood knew this. So I didn't get messed with. When you're with a man that protects and provides, it shows. And it keeps the predators away. Guys knew not to mess with me because I had two strong black men in my life, and later on my husband. And so therefore they knew not to fuck with me. But if you got an entire community that's ravaged with the poison of missing men in women's lives, then yeah, you're gonna get a lot of degenerate activity. Cause and effect. And see, this is where we have to always take a holistic look at what is the cause, what is the effect. Think in the mind of a predator. The predator is always going to look at who is the soft target. Oh, can I get away with targeting this woman that has a husband and brothers and men around her that's going to protect her? No, he's not even going to go there because he knows there's just too much protection over there. But oh, here's this woman over here. No man around at all. And she's got these kids. Their fathers aren't in their lives. I can just wiggle my way in over here and pretend like I want to be a stepdaddy, and this woman has no protection. I'm going to present myself to be something that I'm not and wiggle my way in. This is predatory mindset. So for black men to sit up here and say, oh, the black women, they're bringing the predators into the house. Yeah, that may very well be. It is her job to monitor who she brings around her children. But I'm letting you know also that if you have children with this woman, it is also your job to be there to monitor who's coming in and out too of your children's life. If you know you have children and you're not there, then you also have to take the L if something happens, because you are not on your job as protector. And they don't want to hear that part. So they took my video down. I did the video over again because it needs to be heard. It needs to be said. Now you can silence me on a panel. You can push the mute button. You can make false narratives that, oh, black women confessed to not being shit. You can go around making false narratives of that and taking out little sound bites and playing online. I don't play such games. This is not a game to me. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and jump off because I'm getting ready to get into an area where I'm going to lose my signal. But do share the video. It's a very important message. It's a topic that doesn't get discussed. And, hopefully this one doesn't get flagged and taken down. But I do thank everybody that came into the chat. Let me see who's in here. I'm going to get every single last one of you. I have Miss Gigi. Thank you for showing up. I have, who is this? Nationwood Nico. Thank you for showing up. Sheila E. Thank you for showing. And I think that's everybody. Nationhood Nico. I'm hoping I'm saying the names right. I can barely see. I don't have my glasses on. But I appreciate every single last one of you that get up so early. Oh, Skinny Boy K, what's up? Thank you for showing up. I know it's early in the morning, and you guys didn't have to get up this early to hear me going through my spiel. So I always appreciate it when you guys do get up this early and kick it with me. But do like the video, share the video, and I will see you in the next one. You guys have a great, good morning. All right.